Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Helios station, Earth's most classified military installation, hidden in plain sight among the asteroid belt. The vast expanse of space stretched before her, but her attention was fixed on the holographic display showing an incoming alien vessel, the first to venture this deep into Sol's defensive grid in decades. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Arcturus is maintaining position behind Europa's shadow," Admiral Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported. "The alien vessel hasn't detected our presence. Their scanning patterns suggest routine exploration protocols." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. For 30 years, humanity had maintained the greatest deception in its history. While the Galactic Concordat believed Earth to be a primitive civilization barely capable of reaching its own moon, the reality was far different. Hidden beneath the surface of Europa, camouflaged in the asteroid belt, and scattered across strategic points in the solar system, lay humanity's true fleet, ships capable of speeds that would make the Concordat's fastest vessels look like ancient sailing ships. "They're following the expected route," Commander Diana Walsh noted, her cybernetic eye tracking the alien ship's trajectory. "Just like the others, they'll do their survey, confirm we're still stuck in chemical rockets, and move on." But this time was different. Sarah could feel it in her bones, the same way she'd felt it when she'd first joined Project Ascension 2 decades ago. The alien vessel's movement patterns were too precise, its scanning too thorough. "They know something," Sarah muttered. "Or at least, they suspect." The Helios station's quantum computers processed the alien vessel's scan patterns, comparing them to decades of recorded encounters. The A's analysis confirmed Sarah's suspicion. This wasn't a routine survey. "Admiral," Rodriguez's voice carried an edge of urgency. "They're deploying something. Multiple objects, about the size of shuttles." Sarah's jaw tightened. "Show me." The holographic display zoomed in on several small craft departing the alien vessel. Their design was unfamiliar, not matching any known Concordat species. "Those aren't survey drones," Commander Walsh stated, her cybernetic eye whirring as it analyzed the data. "Those are probe ships designed for deep penetration scans." Sarah straightened her uniform, a decision crystallizing in her mind. For 3 decades, humanity had hidden its true capabilities, building its strength in secret, while the galaxy dismissed Earth as an insignificant backwater. The plan had been to wait another decade, to build the fleet until victory in any conflict would be assured. But plans rarely survived first contact with the enemy. "Signal the Arcturus," Sarah ordered. "Tell Captain Martinez to power up the gravity drive, and get me a direct line to the Defense Council." Rodriguez's fingers flew across his console. "Ma'am, if we reveal ourselves." "The Concordat was going to discover us eventually, Lieutenant," Sarah interrupted. "Better on our terms than theirs." She turned to Commander Walsh. "Deploy the defense grid. If those probe ships get too close to Europa, I want them disabled. Not destroyed, disabled. Let's not start a war if we can avoid it." As the station hummed to life around her, Sarah reflected on the weight of her next decisions. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, developing technologies that would make Earth not just equal to the galactic powers, but superior. The quantum drives that could fold space itself, the dark matter reactors that provided nearly limitless energy, the neural networks that could process battlefield data faster than organic minds, all hidden beneath a carefully maintained veneer of primitive technology. "Admiral," Walsh called out, "the alien vessel is changing course. They're heading toward Europa." Sarah nodded. The charade had served its purpose, but the time for hiding was over. "Send the signal to all fleet elements. Authorization code, Prometheus Rising." She watched as status indicators across the system began to shift from dormant to active. "Let's show our visitors what humanity is really capable of." The Arcturus emerged from behind Europa, its dark matter drive casting a purple glow against the moon's icy surface. The ship's very existence was humanity's greatest secret, a vessel that could outrun, outfight, and outthink anything in known space. As the alien vessel's sensors detected the Arcturus, Sarah allowed herself another small smile. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's quiet corner of space wasn't so primitive after all. The real question was whether this revelation would lead to war or wisdom. "Open a channel to the alien vessel," Sarah commanded. "Let's introduce ourselves properly." The Concordat Council chamber erupted in chaos. Holographic displays showed the impossible. A human vessel that had simply appeared from nowhere, its capabilities far beyond what any primitive species should possess. First Speaker Venera, their crystalline form shimmering with agitation, called for order. "The evidence is undeniable. The humans have deceived us all. But the greater question remains, for how long and to what extent?" In the shadow of the chamber's towering columns, Ambassador Kral of the Meraxian Empire leaned forward, his scaled features tight with barely contained rage. "We've been monitoring Earth for centuries. Their technological progression appeared natural, consistent. This level of deception requires resources and coordination beyond anything we believed them capable of." Back on the Helios station, Admiral Chen watched the diplomatic chaos unfold through quantum-encrypted feeds. The Concordat's response to humanity's revelation had been predictably volatile, but it was the silence from certain quarters that concerned her most. "The Meraxians are mobilizing their frontier fleets," Commander Walsh reported, her cybernetic eye processing multiple data streams simultaneously. "They're trying to be subtle about it, but our deep space arrays are picking up the energy signatures." Sarah nodded grimly. "And the others?" "The Zern Collective remains neutral, at least officially. The Talaxian Republic has called for diplomatic solutions, but their military installations are on high alert." Lieutenant Rodriguez approached with a secure tablet. "Admiral, Defense Council is requesting your presence at an emergency session. They're concerned about the Meraxian movements." Sarah understood the real message behind the diplomatic language. The Meraxians were notorious for their aggressive expansion, held in check only by the balance of power among the Concordat species. Humanity's revelation had disrupted that balance. "Tell the Council I'll attend virtually," Sarah replied. "I'm not leaving the station, not with the situation this volatile." As if to emphasize her point, new alerts flashed across the command center's displays. The Meraxian Empire had just closed its borders to all human vessels, not that there were any official ones to begin with. "They're testing us," Commander Walsh observed, "trying to gauge our real capabilities." Sarah moved to the tactical display, studying the movements of various alien fleets. The Meraxians were indeed being obvious about their military preparations, almost too obvious. "They want us to focus on their visible movements," she mused. "Standard Meraxian tactics create an obvious threat to mask the real danger." "Admiral," Rodriguez called out, his voice tense, "we're detecting unusual quantum signatures in the Kuiper belt. They don't match any known Concordat patterns." Sarah's eyes narrowed. The Kuiper belt had been humanity's first line of early warning detection, filled with sensors that could detect ships even in quantum space, if unknown signatures were appearing there. "Get me a secure line to Captain Martinez on the Arcturus," she ordered, "and signal all fleet elements to initiate Protocol Omega-7. As her commands were carried out, Sarah reflected on humanity's position. They had revealed their existence as a technological power, but not the full extent of their capabilities. The quantum drives were just the beginning. In hidden facilities across the solar system, technologies that would reshape the balance of power waited to be unveiled. The question was whether they would be used for peace or war. A new alert drew her attention. The Meraxian signatures in the Kuiper belt were moving, forming a pattern that any military strategist would recognize: an attack formation. "They're not waiting for diplomatic solutions," Commander Walsh stated, her cybernetic systems analyzing the threat patterns. "The Meraxians see us as a threat to their dominance. They'll want to eliminate us before we can fully emerge as a galactic power." Sarah's expression hardened. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, developing technologies and strategies that would ensure their survival in a hostile galaxy. If the Miraxians wanted to test Earth's resolve, they would learn why humanity had chosen to hide its strength for so long. "Signal the fleet," she commanded. "All ships to battle stations. If the Miraxians want to start a war, we'll show them why that's a mistake they'll never forget." As the orders went out, quantum communications carried Sarah's message to every hidden human vessel in the solar system. The time for hiding was over. Now it was time to show the galaxy why humanity had been so careful to conceal its true power. The storm was rising, and Earth was ready to weather it. The first shots of the war weren't fired by the Miraxians. They came from a seemingly empty patch of space near Saturn's rings, where 3 Concordat scout ships had strayed too close to a hidden human defense platform. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his voice steady despite the tension. "The Miraxians are using their scout ships as bait, trying to draw out our defensive positions." Admiral Chen watched the tactical display as dozens of Miraxian warships emerged from quantum space, their energy signatures blazing against the darkness. But something about their formation troubled her. "They're being too obvious," she muttered. "The Miraxians are tactically brilliant. This approach is almost amateurish." Commander Walsh's cybernetic eye whirred as it processed the data. "Unless, Admiral, could this be a diversion?" Before Sarah could respond, new alerts flashed across the command screens. Deep space sensors had detected massive quantum disturbances on the edge of the solar system. The real Miraxian attack force was arriving, and it was far larger than anyone had anticipated. 500 ships, Walsh breathed. They've committed their entire third fleet. Sarah's expression remained calm, though her mind raced through scenarios and contingencies. The Miraxians had revealed their hand, but they didn't know humanity's full capabilities. "Not yet. Signal the Arcturus, and all forward elements," she ordered. "Execute Maneuver Phoenix Rising." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet began to move. Ships that had been concealed in gas-giant atmospheres, inside asteroids, and beneath planetary surfaces emerged from their hiding places. But unlike the Miraxians' bold display of force, these vessels moved with precision and purpose, using technology that made them nearly invisible to conventional sensors. "Ma'am," Rodriguez called out. "Captain Martinez reports the Arcturus is in position. All ships are awaiting your command." Sarah studied the tactical display one final time. The Miraxian fleet was advancing in a classic pincer formation, clearly intending to trap Earth's forces between their 2 attack groups. It was a sound strategy, against a conventional opponent. "Signal all ships," she commanded. "Activate the quantum phase drives." The effect was immediate and dramatic. The human fleet seemed to flicker and fade, their quantum signatures becoming erratic and impossible to track. It was humanity's greatest technological achievement. Ships that could exist partially out of phase with normal spacetime, making them nearly impossible to target. The Miraxian fleet faltered, their neat formation breaking as their targeting systems failed to lock onto the phase-shifted human vessels. But Sarah knew they wouldn't remain confused for long. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta," she ordered. "Target their command and control nodes first. Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humanity." The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. Human ships, moving with impossible grace through phased space, struck at the Miraxian fleet from angles that shouldn't have existed. Their weapons, powered by dark matter reactors, cut through advanced alien shields like paper. "Admiral," Walsh reported, "the Miraxians are attempting to regroup. They're adjusting their shields to compensate for our phase technology." Sarah nodded. She had expected this. The Miraxians weren't known for giving up easily. "Signal all ships to prepare for phase shift level 2. Rodriguez looked up sharply. "Admiral, that technology hasn't been fully tested." "Neither was First Contact, Lieutenant," Sarah replied firmly. Sometimes you have to take calculated risks. As the order went out, the human fleet's quantum signatures changed again. This time, they didn't just phase shift. They began to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Each human ship became a dozen possible targets, only one of which was real. The Maraxian fleet's coordination collapsed completely. Their advanced targeting systems, designed to track normal space vessels, couldn't cope with ships that existed in quantum superposition. Their attacks passed harmlessly through phantom images, while the real human vessels struck with devastating precision. "The Maraxian flagship is signaling," Walsh announced. "They're requesting a ceasefire." Sarah watched as the mighty Third Fleet began to retreat, their formations shattered, their confidence broken. Humanity had just proven itself not just capable of standing against a major galactic power, but of decisively defeating one. "Accept their ceasefire," she ordered, "but maintain battle readiness. This isn't over, it's just the beginning." As the human fleet regrouped, Sarah knew that news of this battle would spread quickly through the Concordat. The galaxy would soon learn that humanity hadn't just been hiding, they had been preparing. And now, they were ready to take their place among the stars, whether the galaxy was ready or not. News of humanity's victory over the Maraxian Third Fleet spread through the Concordat like a shockwave. In the aftermath, the galaxy's political landscape began to shift in unexpected ways. Admiral Chen was reviewing tactical data when Commander Walsh entered her office aboard Helios Station. "Admiral, we're receiving an encrypted transmission. It's from the Zern Collective." Sarah raised an eyebrow. The Zern, known for their advanced biotechnology and strict neutrality, rarely involve themselves in galactic politics. "Put it through to my private terminal." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the Zern Elder, their translucent, crystalline form pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. "Admiral Chen," the Elder's translated voice was melodic. "We have watched your species with great interest." "I'm sure you have," Sarah replied diplomatically, "just as we've watched the Concordat." The Elder's colors shifted to what Sarah's neural interface identified as amusement. "Perhaps more than you realize. We are not the only ones who saw potential in humanity's unique approach to galactic politics." Before Sarah could respond, new data streamed across her terminal: technical specifications, strategic assessments, and most surprisingly, evidence that other species have been quietly watching Earth's development with approval. The Talaxian Republic, the Vega Syndicate, even elements within the Concordat itself, Walsh murmured, reviewing the data. "They've all been monitoring us, waiting to see what we'd do." The Zern Elder's form pulsed with confirmation. The Maraxians' aggressive expansion has long been a concern. Their defeat at your hands has created opportunities. Sarah leaned back, considering the implications. "You're proposing an alliance." "We propose balance," the Elder corrected. "The galaxy has stagnated under the old power structures. Your species brings something new, not just technology, but perspective." A separate alert drew Sarah's attention. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came through her neural link. "Admiral, we're detecting unusual activity in the Kuiper Belt. The quantum signatures. They're like nothing we've seen before." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Elder, what do you know about these new signatures?" The Zern's colors darkened. "They are why we chose to contact you now. There are forces in the galaxy older than the Concordat, older than any of our civilizations. Your emergence has drawn their attention." Commander Walsh's cybernetic eye whirred as it processed new data streams. "Admiral, the quantum disturbances are increasing. Whatever's out there, it's big." The Zern Elder's next words sent a chill through the command center. "The Ancient Ones are stirring. The Maraxians' defeat was merely a prelude to a greater conflict. We need your phase technology, Admiral Chen, just as you will need our biological quantum computers." Sarah stood, moving to the tactical display. The unknown signatures were forming patterns that defied conventional physics. "How long have you known about these Ancient Ones?" "Long enough to know we cannot face them alone," the Elder replied. Your species' ability to think beyond traditional boundaries, to hide in plain sight while developing revolutionary technologies. These traits may be our only hope. New alerts flashed across the display. The quantum disturbances were spreading, appearing near other star systems. Whatever was coming, it wasn't just targeting Earth. "We accept your proposal," Sarah declared, her decision made. "But we do this on equal terms. No more secrets, no more hidden agendas." The Elders' Forum pulsed with agreement. "Perhaps this is why your species was meant to emerge now. The galaxy needs change, Admiral Chen. The old ways cannot stand against what comes." As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to Commander Walsh. "Contact the Defense Council. Tell them we need to accelerate the deployment of the phase shift technology, and get me a secure line to Captain Martinez. The Arcturus needs to be ready." "For what?" Walsh asked, though her expression suggested she already knew the answer. "For whatever those signatures represent," Sarah replied, watching as more unknown quantum disturbances appeared on the tactical display. "The galaxy's about to change again, and this time, humanity won't be hiding. We'll be leading the charge." The ancient forces stirring in the darkness would soon discover that humanity's defeat of the Miraxians wasn't just luck or advanced technology. It was the result of a species that had spent generations preparing for exactly this kind of moment, when survival meant thinking beyond the possible. The ancient quantum signatures materialized into something that defied conventional understanding. Massive vessels, seemingly woven from dark matter itself, emerged from the void. Their presence alone distorted spacetime, making normal sensors useless. Admiral Chen stood at Helios Station's command center, surrounded by representatives from the newly formed alliance. The Zern Elders' crystalline form pulsed with nervous energy, while the Talaxian ambassador's tentacles writhed in barely contained anxiety. "They're not just ships," Commander Walsh reported, her cybernetic eye struggling to process the readings. "They're reality anchors. Each one is generating its own localized laws of physics." Sarah watched as the tactical display tried to make sense of what they were seeing. The Ancient One's technology wasn't just advanced. It operated on principles that made their best quantum theories look primitive. "The phase shift technology won't be enough," the Zern Elder stated. "Not alone." "Good thing we're not alone anymore," Sarah replied, her voice steady. She opened a neural link to all Alliance vessels. "This is Admiral Chen. Execute protocol synthesis." Across the solar system, human phase shift technology began integrating with Zern biological quantum computers. Talaxian energy matrices merged with Earth's dark matter reactors. What had been separate technologies combined into something entirely new. Captain Martinez's voice came through the command channel. "Admiral, the Arcturus's systems are fully integrated. The ship, it's evolving." The Ancient One's fleet moved with impossible grace, their reality warping fields reaching out like tendrils. But they hadn't counted on facing an alliance that combined humanity's innovative spirit with the advanced biotechnology of the Zern and the energy mastery of the Talaxians. "All ships, engage on my mark," Sarah commanded. "Remember your training. Don't try to match their reality distortions. Flow around them." The battle that followed defied description. Human ships, enhanced by Zern biotech, phased between multiple quantum states, while Talaxian energy weapons pierced the Ancient One's reality fields. The Arcturus, now more alive than mechanical, adapted in real time to each new threat. "They're trying to establish a quantum lock on our position," Walsh reported. "They want to freeze us in a single reality state." Sarah smiled grimly. "That's their mistake. They still think in absolutes. Show them what humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy really is." At her command, the Alliance fleet executed a maneuver that should have been impossible. Instead of fighting the Ancient One's reality distortions, they embraced them, using the enemy's own space-time manipulations to create opportunities. "Multiple quantum breaches detected," Rodriguez announced. "The Ancient One's fleet. They're losing coherence." The Zern Elders' colors brightened. Of course, They never conceived that younger races could turn their own mastery of reality against them. The Ancient Ones' vessels began to retreat, their reality anchors destabilizing. They had expected to face primitive resistance, not an alliance that could adapt and evolve mid-battle. "They're sending a transmission," Walsh reported. "Converting now." The message was brief but clear. "You have proven worthy. We will watch your development with interest." As the Ancient One's fleet disappeared into quantum space, Sarah turned to the assembled Alliance representatives. "This isn't the end," she stated. "They'll be back, and they won't be the only challenge we face." The Talaxian ambassador's tentacles waved in agreement. "But we will face it together." Today proved that our strength lies not in individual power, but in our ability to combine our knowledge in new ways. Sarah nodded, watching as the Alliance fleet regrouped. Humanity had emerged from hiding to find not just allies, but partners in evolution. The galaxy would never be the same, but perhaps that had been the point all along. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them it's time to begin Phase 2. As the message was transmitted, Sarah reflected on humanity's journey. They had hidden their strength not out of fear, but because they understood that true power came from knowing when to reveal it. Now, with allies at their side and enemies giving them a wide berth, humanity was ready to help shape a new dawn for the galaxy. The Ancient Ones had unwittingly helped create something they never expected. A coalition of species that could adapt and evolve faster than any single civilization. And at its heart was humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy, the understanding that the impossible was just something that hadn't been tried yet.